Hi, it's Michelle. Welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, my name is Michelle. I make videos about books. Please hit the subscribe button. It really helps my channel grow. This is the Rom-Comathon vlog. Welcome. If you don't know what Rom-Comathon is, it is a readathon that I do with my friend Aoife from Pretty Purple Polka Dots and Brianna from Four Paws in a Book, and I will have their channels down below. This round went from February 13th through 19th? Math? Anyway, this is the start of it. I started What If You and Me by Ronnie Lauren last night, around the time when Rom-Comathon started for me, so I started it as soon as possible because I am trying to do 7 in 7. Back in the day when there was a contemporary-a-thon, pretty much everyone tried to do 7 in 7 for that one as well. So we are taking it and trying to do 7 in 7. So I am buddy reading this with Nat from Nerdy Nat Reads. I am 130 pages into this, and this is the sequel to Yes and I Love You, which I absolutely loved, but this follows a character from the first book named Andy, and she is a podcaster and a horror writer, so it's so cool that I am reading a romance, but I'm also getting a little bit of horror at the same time, which I love. I am really liking this. I think I picked this for my friends to lovers trope, and it is friends to lovers. So I'm glad I got that right. But we are following Andy, who has a little bit of trust issues, and we're starting to find out why. And she has a new neighbor named Hill, and Hill is a retired firefighter. Something happened to him and he is wearing a prosthetic leg now, and we haven't gotten to the point where we find out what has happened to him. But he used to be engaged, and then after the accident his whole life just like kind of fell apart. So we're following them. They have just now become friends. Like they just had a horror movie night and they kind of almost kissed, and there are conflicting feelings for both of them. I personally don't really like friends to lovers, and I don't know why, but I am liking this one. I really like Ronnie Lauren's writing. The only thing that I don't like is a trauma bond, and I feel like this is the direction that this is going. Like they both have separate traumas and they're going to like bond over their traumas, and that is not something that I usually like in romance, but I am keeping an open mind with this, so we will see. So let's see, I will update again soon, but I am hoping to finish this today, so wish me luck. Before we get started in the vlog, I wanted to talk to you about coffee, because if there is one thing I love more than books, it's probably coffee. So I have been using Javi coffee. This is coffee concentrate, which is literally the easiest thing to do ever. All I did, fill up my huge glass with ice, and then I filled it up with water to about here, and then I just put in 2 teaspoons of this. This is the original coffee, and it tastes amazing. It's literally so easy to make. I have an affiliate link down in the description below, and you get 20% off these things, which last literally forever, with my link. So definitely check out Javi coffee. It's literally so good, and like I make it every single day. So I finished What If You and Me by Ronnie Lauren. This made me feel things. Like my heart felt happy at the end of it, which is how I felt about Yes and I Love You. There was a slight trauma bond, but I felt like this wasn't, it was different than like, what is that? Asher's Voice? Is that the name? I don't know, I'll put that video here, and like a Colleen Hoover, and like these characters had this, they both had trauma, right? Hill was in an accident and lost his leg, and Andy was in a very bad relationship when she was a teenager. And these were backstories that were important to them, but they were also working on themselves. And it wasn't like the whole focus, I guess, which I appreciated. There is the Colleen Hoover quote right here that says this book is great. So I was nervous. I think it's on Yes and I Love You as well, but these books just work for me better than like a Colleen Hoover does. I can't explain it. I hate these covers though. If they got new covers for these books, I feel like more people would pick them up. These covers are not good. So what I'm saying is this is a 5-star. My first book for Rom-Comathon is a 5-star. I am so excited. I finished this very fast. I was listening to it on Hoopla, which goes to 4 times speed, and I think I was listening to it at like 3.4, so it was a little faster than normal. So 5 stars for my first book for Rom-Comathon. I am 100 pages into How to Fake It in Hollywood by Ava Wilder. This is kind of just okay so far. So we're following Gray, who is 27, and she just left like a role, like a TV role that she was on for 7 years, kind of like Vampire Diaries or something like that. And she hasn't gotten a job in like 8 months. So that's not good. And then we're also following Ethan, who was like a big star. He's won an Oscar. He's done all this stuff. And then 5 years ago, his best friend died and he hasn't really acted since. And he is an alcoholic now. So their studio has set them up to fake date. And I absolutely love fake dating. Like that is my favorite trope. But I don't know. Also, this is age gap. I love fake dating and I love age gap, but I just like don't feel the chemistry between these two characters for some reason. And I don't know if it's because it's like a Hollywood setting that I'm not absolutely loving, or if it's just these characters, but like I am not really feeling it yet. But I'm only 100 pages in, and this is a fairly long book. It's over 350 pages. So we will see. It's just okay right now, but that doesn't mean anything later on. Hello, happy Valentine's Day. I tried to wear something pink or red and I don't own anything pink or red, so this was it. But I finished How to Fake It in Hollywood last night. This was okay. I didn't really like the direction that this went in. This really focused a lot on the love interest and his battles with addiction and stuff. And it's not that it came out of nowhere, but it kind of came out of nowhere. Like he was definitely drinking the entire time, which like it was made, you were made very aware of it the entire time. The thing is, he like had a big blow up towards the end. Also, they got together, so they were fake dating, and then they got together and there were still like 100 pages left. So I knew something bad was going to happen because there was just too much time. I don't know. 3 stars for this one. I'm not going to keep it. I will be unhauling this one. So yeah. But then I started Act Your Age, Eve Brown by Talia Hibbert. This was for Features a Wedding. And by Features a Wedding, I mean it is described that she like did something bad with doves at a wedding, and it is like a 2-sentence thing, but I'm still gonna count it because it is in the back description. This could potentially be my favorite of the Brown sisters right now, at least. So Eve Brown is a hot mess. So she doesn't really follow through with anything, especially jobs. And the thing with the wedding is that she was like a wedding planner and she got fired because she did something with doves at someone's wedding. And so she just like stopped her wedding business, and her parents are cutting her off. They're making her move out. They are cutting off all of her money for a year unless she gets a job. So now she has gotten a job kinda at a bed and breakfast, and she may have accidentally ran over the owner of the bed and breakfast, and now she's working there, and the owner is the love interest. I am obsessed with him. His name is Jake. He is, I believe, on the autism spectrum. He's mentioned it a couple times, and he's also mentioned like being touched and stuff, which has been really interesting because it's kind of subtle, but like also kind of like a big part of him. It's hard to explain, but it has been mentioned a couple times. So far though, Jake has been my favorite love interest. I'm only 100 pages in. Like, I thought it was gonna be Saphir, but I'm kind of loving Jake. I also love Eve Brown because she's such a mess, like, and she knows it. She knows she's a mess, but also she's so confident. She's like, yeah, he's looking at me like I'm the shit, and I'm like, you go, Eve. I fucking love the confidence. So this is going great so far. I will probably just update again when I am done because I plan to read a lot of books this week. I finished Act Your Age, Eve Brown. I truly can't decide which one I liked more between Danny and Eve. I liked Danny because she was bisexual and a witch and really academic, but there was something about Eve that was just like so charming. Like she like made mistakes all the time and just like was fine with it. And I really liked it. It was like very endearing. So I truly can't decide which one is my favorite between Danny and Eve. Like, it could change by the minute, but I absolutely love this. I'm gonna give it 5 stars, and I just love this. I wish I liked Chloe. I really wish I liked Chloe because I feel like I probably should have, and it's just the audiobook that like made me not like it. But I absolutely love Danny and Eve, so 5 stars for this. This was for Features the Wedding. It barely did, but I will still be counting it because why not? So 5 stars for this. The end. I'm 100 pages into the layover. This is very okay. Honestly, this has a way too much to do with being a flight attendant and not so much about the romance yet, at least. And that is because the author is a flight attendant. So that makes sense, but still a little bit too much for me. But this follows Ava, and she is on her last job as a flight attendant because she just got engaged, and her fiance doesn't like that she's the flight attendant because she's gone all the time. And then she meets Jack. She like knows of him, but he used to be a pilot and now he's a flight attendant, and we don't know why. And they like do not like each other. Ava doesn't like Jack because Ava was dating a pilot, and Jack in the breakup took the pilot's side, and I don't know why yet. But the thing is, Ava is engaged, so I feel like the love interest is Jack. So what I feel like is going to happen is there isn't going to be cheating. She's going to realize that her fiance isn't right for her and end up with Jack. And there has been like little clues that this is going to happen. Like, her fiance really wants a big wedding, and she doesn't like that. Also, he like doesn't want her to work anymore, but she loves her job as a flight attendant. So personally, like, this is where it's gonna go, and it is quite just fine. There's nothing absolutely spectacular about this book, but I don't really want to DNF a book for readathon, so this is just okay so far. I finished The Layover. It was not good. I was listening to it and following along like I always do, and I can tell you the last 15%, I put the book down and just listened to it, and was I really listening to it? Like, I want to be honest with you. I wasn't really listening to it at that point. There was no cheating, which was good. She just realized she didn't want to quit her job, and he wanted her to quit her job, like her fiance, not the love interest. But I just felt like Ava and Jack had no chemistry, which is why my brain really stopped listening to this. And this is the author's debut. I don't think it's a bad book per se. I just don't think it was for me. This was born like out of COVID and lockdown when no one was really leaving their houses, and you can tell this was published in 2021. And I feel like the idea was good, but it was too much information about being a flight attendant that like truly I did not care about, like in detail about being a flight attendant. And the author is a flight attendant and you can tell that like she really likes her job, and that is great. However, I did not care about this, and the like overall vibe of this book was just not for me. So 2 stars for the layover, and I will be unhauling this, and unfortunately this is one of the worst books I've read so far this year. I am 150 pages into the dating playbook. This is so cute and fake dating. So we're following Taylor, who is a personal trainer, but she isn't certified. Like, she never went to college, but she is just like really good at what she does. So she is in a considerable amount of debt and doesn't have many clients. So she's freaking out. Then she meets this football player named Jamar, who injured his knee and is trying to get back into the NFL. So he hires Taylor, but he doesn't want people to know that he is training again in case he doesn't get back into the NFL. So a reporter sees them and he's like, oh fuck, I don't want anyone to know that you're training me. So she says, oh, we're dating. So it's fake dating, which is my favorite. I absolutely love that Taylor is the personal trainer. Like, I think like girl power, like absolutely love that. It is a lot to do with like, you know, how to eat right and stuff like that, which I necessarily don't care about, but I love the dynamic between Taylor and Jamar. Like, they absolutely love each other, but you know, it's fake right now. They have kissed once, so it's like she just told her friends that she likes him, but he's a client, right? So like, you can't do that. This is the second in a series, and I knew that going in. So I am learning about the main character in the first book, but that doesn't bother me because it's a romance, and we know what happens most of the time at the end of romance, which is a happily ever after. So it's only making me want to pick up the first book more, to be honest with you, because I love all of these characters and the friend group. So if anything, I just want to pick it up even more. I do have the third one. I have the hookup plan, but I absolutely need to get the boyfriend project because I'm obsessed with this. The writing is just so good, and I haven't gotten to this. I haven't gotten to the smut yet. I'm 42% into the audiobook. It's a slow burn, but that's because it's fake dating. I don't necessarily love a slow burn, but I just read Eve, and Eve Brown was also a slow burn. So like, I feel like if there is a lot of build up and I really like the characters, then I don't mind a slow burn. And that's how I feel about this so far. So really liking this one so far. I finished The Dating Playbook by Farah Rashan. I really liked this. However, there were some parts that were boring, and that could be because it was primarily about football, which I don't know if you know this, but I am not a sports girly. Like, the only sport that I will watch is soccer or football, and that is like English soccer. So the fact that this was about football, just like, I did not care. But it did go into subjects like learning disabilities and grief and like letting go of grief. So I did like those. The smut scenes were extremely awkward. Like, they were like, I don't know if this author didn't feel comfortable writing them, but that's how it felt because they were completely rushed. I have never read sex scenes so rushed. Like, it's either closed door or like they're a little drawn out, which is normal. But these were like, there was no foreplay. It was like 1 to 100 in like 2 sentences. So for me, it felt very awkward. So I'm gonna give this book 3.5 stars. So on Goodreads, it went up to 4 stars. I am very interested in the rest of the series because they're like a girl friend group and I absolutely love all of them. So I will go back and read the first one and then probably the third one. But like, I know of these other characters now. It just like, not everything worked for me. And the big thing that didn't work for me were the sex scenes. Like, either they should have been closed door, which would have been fine. I truly don't care if romances are a closed door. Sometimes I like them more, or they just needed to be better. Like, we needed foreplay. Like, I can't even tell you how awkward they were just doing it. And I was just like, this is like literally not how this works. So 3.5 stars for The Dating Playbook. I am 30% into Do I Know You by Emily Wibberley and Austin Sigmund Broca. It's fine. I am just listening to the audiobook. It is dual POV and 2 narrators, but I personally was not excited to read this. It was never on my radar. I did get an arc of it, but it was an unsolicited arc. And it's because I reviewed the roughest draft, which I also didn't like. I just don't think I like, so far, their adult stuff. I think I've said this before, but I am not a second chance girly. Like, I said it in my romance video, which I'll link above. I do not like second chance romances from personal experience. I just feel like it is definitely not for me. I also don't like really reading about marriage in crisis. And I know that I have read the Romance Book Club, which was also a marriage in crisis, but that was literally so funny. And like, so far, Do I Know You is not funny. It's mostly just not for me. This could truly be a DNF. And I don't want a DNF for a readathon, like I said, because I would have DNF'd the layover. So I'm gonna give it like to 50% and see. It's literally so short, but I just don't care about this. I'm sorry if you can hear my entire family, but I forgot to talk about what Do I Know You is about, and that's because I don't care. But this couple who are celebrating their 5-year marriage anniversary are going to this like resort, and then they pretend like they don't know each other, and they're like getting to know each other again. Basically, it's stupid. I literally hate this so much, and I'm 40% in now, and I'm still thinking about DNFing. And like, I'm listening to it on Libby and I can only go to 3 times speed, and I'm wishing I could literally go to 4 because I just don't care about it. It's like, it's a really dumb concept and I really don't like it. Hi, I DNF'd Do I Know You. I made it 40% in before I decided to DNF. The thing with me, even with a readathon, is I am not going to torture myself if I am not liking a book. And even though this was the group book, I never really had any interest with this because of how much I did not like their debut. So yeah, I DNF'd this because they are a married couple of 5 years and they had no communication, which is just like a huge red flag. So this is a second chance romance, and I wasn't pulling for them to get back together because they didn't know how to communicate with each other, which is toxic. So that is why I DNF'd it. Aoife and my friend Sherry gave it 5 stars. My friend Erica, who I know in real life, gave it 2 stars and said it was sad, and I don't want to read a sad romance. That is not what I am here for. So DNF the group book. It'll be interesting to see what Brianna thinks of it for the discussion. But yeah, I'm gonna go make some coffee, so see ya. Hi, I'm over 150 pages into this and I keep forgetting to update because I don't want to stop reading this. This was not on my TBR. I had love, chai, and other 4-letter words on my TBR, and I truly, honestly just wasn't feeling it. It was for dual POV, but I have, like, every single book that I have read so far has been dual POV except for this one. This is YA. Going back to my roots, but that's fine. This follows Liz, who is in lust with Michael, who moves back after leaving for like moving away in 5th grade, but he's back now, and she is basically fake dating her annoying but obviously cute neighbor Wes, and you can totally tell that Wes likes Liz and Liz is just so oblivious. The reason I really like this one is because it's referencing rom-com movies, so this is literally the perfect book for a rom-comathon. It is amazing. It's YA. I don't care that it's YA. I am enjoying it. I finished Better Than the Movies. This was a good 3 stars until the end, so I'm gonna give it 3.5 stars. And on Goodreads, that's what? On Goodreads, that's 4 stars, but I don't think I'm gonna keep it just because I am getting rid of so many of my YA books. And the audiobook is on Scrib, that's where I listen to it, and it's an amazing audiobook. I just don't think I would pick it up again. Like, I'm really glad that I read it, but YA just really isn't something that I'm focusing on anymore. And this was very YA. Like, it centered around senior year and prom. Like, prom was the big thing in this book, which just like is so irrelevant to me now. So I will be unhauling this, but glad I read it. I have read 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 and a half books for Rom-Comathon because I DNF'd the group book. But it's only Saturday, but 72 hours in a haunted house is going on right now. So I think I'm not going to spin the wheel. I'm sorry, y'all, but I am going to read Voices in the Snow by Darcy Coates because it's a thriller romance. So I will be talking to you about that one at some point. Hello, this is the end of the Rom-Comathon vlog. I read 6.5 rom-coms and 2 other books. I did read Voices in the Snow by Darcy Coates for the 72 hour. I did not finish it within the 72 hours. I am, however, going to count it so I can tag all the creators down below. So go check out their channels. Also, please check out Aoife and Brianna. During the last sprint, we got a lot of feedback from new people. So thank you if this was your first time participating in Rom-Comathon. I am just going to do a little wrap up of what I read. So I read The Layover. Did not like this one. This was for Hate to Love, and the writing did not work for me for this one. Next was The Dating Playbook. I gave this 3.5 stars. This was good overall. I think I talked about this here or maybe on my Goodreads review, but the smut scenes were very weird. And I don't even like care if my romance has smut or not, but like, at least if you have it, it should be well written, and I felt like this wasn't. Next was How to Fake It in Hollywood. This was 3 stars. This was for age gap. I just feel like the guy main characters like had problems throughout, like they were always leading up to it, but then like the big problem I felt like came out of nowhere and was just like, it just happened to like deepen the plot really. So 3 stars for this. And then I read Better Than the Movies. I think the last time you heard from me, I gave this 4 stars, but I have put it down to 3 stars. I've already sold it. The thing is, I probably shouldn't have read it. Like, it was very, very cute in the beginning. It was all about like rom-coms, like movies, just like this round of Rom-Comathon was. So it really fit, but it was like all about prom, which I am like so far removed from prom, like 15 years now of prom. So it just like did not do anything for me. But my favorite 2 books are coming up. Probably my favorite one that I read for Rom-Comathon is Act Your Age, Eve Brown. I just absolutely love Eve Brown. If you had me decide which one I liked better, Danny or Eve, I have no idea. I like them both the same. They're absolutely incredible. I love them. And then the first book I read was What If You and Me by Ronnie Lauren. Absolutely loved this one too. This was a little more dramatic and less like comedy and more a little bit serious, but this just worked for me, and I can't wait to read the last book in the series with Nat from Nerdy Nat Reads. So I did DNF the group book, which was Do I Know You? And I DNF'd that about 45% in. If I don't make it over 50%, then I don't count the DNF. So this did not count as anything, I just did not work for me. And the reason it didn't work for me, I think, is that the premise could have been okay if the authors like played up their flirting of like getting this couple to like getting to know each other again or whatever. But I don't really like to read about marriage on the rocks, and it could be because I'm married, like my marriage is not on the rocks, but like if it was, I would not do this approach. So I read 6.5 rom-coms. Let me talk to you about the 2 books that I read that were not rom-coms this week. I read Voices in the Snow by Darcy Coates. This is a horror romance. so I still stayed in the romance category. I absolutely love this. It went a little bit sci-fi, and there was a twist in the middle that like absolutely blew me away. This is probably my favorite Darcy Coates. And then I also read an arc of The Whispers by Ashley Audrain, and that video will be my, that book will be in my next video. So that is it. That is the rom-comathon wrap up. Thank you so much everyone once again for joining us. I cannot wait until our next round, and thanks for watching my video. See you in the next one. Bye.
Losing time, I'm fading fast.